Okay, this is CC, Mary, and the Time Machine. 1 minute, CC was back in Ocean City delivering a pizza to the Glaxon family. When suddenly, CC was in the basement of Mary Somerville's house. How'd I get here? Somerville was a friend from school. I'm sorry, CC, she said, but I've got to send you back to this morning and start this all over again. Start what? You have to stop Seki Takakazu and Noriko Aria from kissing. You must be there when she falls at lunch and he catches her in his arms. You must prevent them from kissing. What are you talking about? Oh, I forgot. My celestial time machine dispensator erases your short-term memory each time you get sent back, unless you compensate for it using a cloud chamber device. I think it'll be no longer a problem to build one once I figure out how to build one, which will protect the thoughts and memories of the time traveler. But until then, we are dependent upon the camera that is built into the helmet that you wear to tell us what happened during your journeys. So unfortunately, you do not remember any of this, at least not until we watch what's on the camera. And that kind of sort of jogs your mind in a way. Your time machine, it works? Said CC, unbelieving? Or, yes, it does, said Mary Somerville. We have been here time and time again trying to undo the changes we made to the timeline using my celestial mechanics time dispensator. Talk English, please, said CC. A minute ago, when I placed this helmet on your head, I sent you back in time. I've been sending you back in time all day, and it hasn't worked. Nothing's worked. Each time, they end up together, and we just end up worse off than before. It's like something on the cosmic level, karma is bringing them together. No matter what we do, it's preventing you from changing things. You were so convinced that if you only told her how you felt about her at lunch, that moment before she tripped and fell into his arms and they kissed, that she would be going with you to the upcoming Harvest Moon dance instead of with him. So as your friend, I wanted to help, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if we had a time machine? And then just like that, an idea for a celestial constructed time machine entered my mind, and I went home and built it. I asked you to help me test it out, since I had built it for you. I thought of it as a win-win for the both of us, and so you agreed to do it. I had no idea that it would prove this difficult to change time. You did help, Mary, said Cece. I was crushing this morning, but thanks to you, I barely remember any of it now. Exactly, continued Mary, not really hearing him. You were just going to go back to this morning and tell Norioka that you loved her, but when she saw you walk in through the door 1 second after she saw you walk out another door, it startled her and she fell into Suzuki Takazuni's arms earlier than before, but the same end result, and they kissed. I have watched it all on the camera in your helmet again and again. It never changes. Something always brings them together. So this time I am going to send you back before the start of school. Tell her right off about how you feel. Don't wait. Then I'll bring you back and we'll never use my celestial mechanics time dispensator ever again. Then just as Mary was spinning the dials and about to throw the switch, her cat jumped on the table, and Mary leaned onto the table as she reached to grab the cat, and that's how the three of them ended up on a battlefield as knights were attacking a castle. How did we end up back here? Asked Cece. The time-weight ratio, said Mary. I didn't calculate for the added weight, so she just fiddled with one of the dials and then said, a tiny adjustment, here it goes, and bam, they reappeared in Mary's basement, spooking the cat, who jumped in time to see the earlier versions of them reacting to the cat as they disappeared. Mary took her celestial mechanics time dispensator off of the head of Cece and turned off the cosmic magnetizing unit. This thing will never be used again, swore Mary. But what is going on? Asked Cece. Mary realized that Cece's short-term memory loss was beginning to compound. Without a cloud chamber compensator, time travel was just too risky. What did we do tonight? Asked Cece. I tutored you in math, said Mary. Oh, yeah, that's right, said Cece, not really remembering it. The next day at school, Mary saw Cece asking another girl to the dance. I should build a robot to time travel, thought Mary to herself. People are just too complicated and intertwined with, and their memories are just too intertwined with time. That is when Mary had the idea, and so she started building robots that would travel through time. She renamed the Celestial Mechanics Time Dispensator and started calling it the Luxuriator, and began spreading the rumor that it was really a hair luxuriator, and promised that it would make a girl's hair shiny and luxurious. Of course, it had no effect on that, but it did create a mania to try the Luxuriator, as everyone wanted to see their hair after the Luxuriator treatment. They all were disappointed, and the demand soon fell off, but that didn't matter. By that time, it had created a flash copy of 10 to 20 of the minds of Mary's fellow students that she could now transfer into her robots. And these robots would then travel through time, recording and reporting on events from the past. Whenever Mary tried to send one of her robots into the future, for some reason it never worked. Mary wasn't sure why, but she was fairly certain that it had something to do with the compensating mechanism for transdimensional cross-currents that occur naturally in time. Dealing with them in the past is easier than dealing with them in the future, and could be because they could be compensated for once you had sufficient data on the patterns of the cross-currents. It should be an easy enough thing to figure out one day in the future. In fact, she was already making the calculations in her head. The one thing Mary never compensated for was that a robot woman, one of the with a mind, a flash copy of one of her students, would one day malfunction. She made sure never to send them to their own time, where they could meet a loved one or a family member. She understood that they all wanted to go to their loved ones and family members. They still thought they all thought they were the real original instead of the copies, the metal copies. So Mary had to guard against that. And this presented problems in managing their time. She did not want people meeting their robot doubles, so Mary designed an emergency return override patch so that whenever a robot got a visual on a loved one, she would be returned immediately to this time to Mary's basement. Then Mary thought that it would be a good thing to make a flash copy of her own mind, just in case. So she did, and then she put it into a secret hiding place where it stayed for a day or two. Then she thought, wouldn't it be a great thing if I had a few body doubles to help here? So she started making robot body doubles, robots using the flash copy of her mind to to make them her doubles, until one of them borrowed the celestial mechanic's time dispensator and changed things in the past, then returned it after erasing the camera's film footage of what she had done. So Mary never knew it had even happened, but that moment that the robot placed the helmet back into its glass case and closed the door, Mary was suddenly back at the beginning, sitting in the cafeteria. What did we used to call it at school? I forget, but it's just the cafeteria. Watching as Cece got his heart broken, watching Seki Takakazu and Noriko area kiss, unmistakably the kiss of true and everlasting love. But this time the sound of a food tray crashing to the ground distracted Mary Sullivan, and the idea of the celestial mechanic's time dispensator passed out of Mary's mind without a second thought about it. So she just had to watch her friend Cece suffer through it. Another uneventful day at Ocean City High, and the time machine, the celestial time dispensator, was never built. The end.